I'm Carla Hinton, reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. August is often seen as a month of new beginnings. Students are going back to school, summer begins to turn into fall. One metro area church, First Presbyterian Church of Edmond, has a new beginning of its own. The church recently welcomed the Reverend Mateen Elass as its new senior pastor. He joins me here today to share information about his life journey and religious career. First of all, Reverend Elass, when did you start your new position as the senior pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Edmond?
Well, Carla, we've been here in Oklahoma now for about 6 weeks, and I started 3 weeks ago at the church. Okay. Let me say it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Great. Well, what have your first few weeks been like?
Well, it's been really kind of a blur. So many names to learn and things to learn about the church. Okay. We've got about 30 staff, so I'm still, I think I got their names down, but lots of people in the congregation and lots of new things to learn about the church.
Okay. You know, Pastor, you have a very intriguing background. You were born in the United States, but you were raised practically in Saudi Arabia, and you were born to a Muslim father and raised in the Muslim culture. And yet you are here with us today as a Presbyterian clergyman. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What did your parents think about your conversion?
Well, I met Christ at around age 20 after actually leaving Islam and going through a study in Eastern mysticism and Western philosophy. But at 20 I became a Christian, and I remember going home at Christmas time. I was still in college, so on Christmas break, and told my father I'd become a Christian. I'd already told my mother, and her response was pretty laid back. She said, if it makes you happy, then I'm happy for you.
Okay.
But when I told my father, although he had been fine with my previous spiritual pursuits, something about my having become a Christian did not sit well with him, and he actually became pretty irate and tried to convince me I shouldn't be a Christian. And then when that failed, he ended up cutting me off from the family for about 15 years.
Wow. You know, I think the thing that is so interesting about your story is the fact that you were raised in a Muslim culture. In fact, your name, Mateen Elass, means something. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Mateen Elass is actually a Muslim name. Mateen in the Quran is one of the Arabic words. There are 99 words in the Quran that are typically associated with the names of God, and Mateen is one of those. It means strong, firm, immovable.
Okay. And
Elass is a very famous name in Islamic history, and it was the name of one of Muhammad's first generals.
Okay.
And it means the rebel.
Okay.
So.
Wow, I find that probably a little ironic. I'm sure you do too.
I do.
Yes. Now, tell me a little bit about your journey to become a Christian clergyman. That's quite a journey.
It was, and it wasn't something I had planned on, and actually I didn't feel called initially to become an ordained clergy person.
Okay.
But I did feel called to proclaim the gospel and to share the news of Jesus Christ with other people, and it turned out that was the way God had for me to go, and it's been a great way of having the freedom to be able to proclaim the good news about Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks so much for joining me today, Reverend. I am Carla Hinton for NewsOK and the Oklahoman, and look for more in the newspaper.